Have you ever stared into the button eyes of a Raggedy doll and felt a shiver run down your spine? These once beloved childhood companions can take on a sinister character in the flickering shadows. This is the true story of Amelia, a seemingly ordinary Raggedy doll, and the terror she unleashed. Raggedy dolls have been a fixture in children's bedrooms for generations. Their cheerful smiles and bright red yarn hair evoke a sense of comfort and nostalgia. But for some, these dolls can become a source of unease. The blank button eyes seem to stare intently, and the floppy limbs can appear almost lifelike in the dim light. Personally, I always found Raggedy dolls a little creepy. There was something unsettling about their permanent smiles and vacant stares. Little did I know, my childhood intuition was eerily accurate. It all began at a dusty antique shop tucked away on a forgotten street corner. Among the chipped teacups and faded photographs, I stumbled upon Amelia. Unlike the vibrant dolls I knew, Amelia was pale and worn. Her once bright red yarn hair was frayed, and her button eyes seemed cloudy and dull. Yet something about her drew me in. Perhaps it was a sense of forgotten childhood memories, or maybe a morbid curiosity. From the moment I brought Amelia home, a strange feeling settled over my apartment. It wasn't a malevolent presence, but a disquieting unease. The air felt heavier, and shadows seemed to linger longer. At first, I brushed it off as nerves, but the feeling persisted. The first sign of something amiss came in the dead of night. I awoke to a faint whispering sound, like a child's voice coming from somewhere in the room. Disoriented, I sat up and scanned the darkness. The source of the sound remained a mystery. Then I noticed Amelia. She wasn't lying where I'd left her. She was propped upright on the edge of a chair, her button eyes seeming to pierce the darkness. The unsettling occurrences continued. I'd leave Amelia on the bookshelf before bed, only to find her on the floor in the morning. Sometimes, she'd be in a different corner of the room entirely. I started attributing it to my forgetfulness, but a nagging doubt lingered. The whispers grew more frequent, evolving into short, nonsensical phrases. Then came the shadow play, flashes of movement from the corner of my eye, only to see Amelia frozen in her place when I turned. Most disturbing were the scratches. One morning, I woke to find fresh, shallow scratches running down the length of my arm. There was no logical explanation. The constant unease began to take its toll. My sleep became fragmented, filled with nightmares of button eyes and disembodied voices. The fear that had simmered beneath the surface now consumed me. I was afraid to be alone in my apartment, afraid of what Amelia might do next. Desperate for answers, I delved into the history of the antique shop. The owner, a kindly old woman named Ms. Beatrice, recalled Amelia vaguely. She'd been donated years ago, with no information about her origin. However, Ms. Beatrice mentioned a local legend about a young girl named Amelia who tragically passed away playing near the abandoned mill on the outskirts of town. The girl, according to the story, had a cherished Raggedy doll. A cold dread washed over me. Could the doll be connected to the local legend? Could it be harboring the spirit of the little girl? Driven by a morbid fascination, I ventured out to the abandoned mill. The place was shrouded in an eerie silence, the only sound the creaking of the wind through the broken windows. As I stood amidst the decaying structure, a feeling of overwhelming sadness washed over me. Back at home, I couldn't shake the feeling. Amelia sat on the bed, her button eyes seeming to follow me around the room. In a desperate attempt to break the hold she had over me, I grabbed the doll and marched to the mill. Tears welled in my eyes as I held Amelia aloft. "If you are Amelia," I choked out, my voice trembling, "find peace. This isn't your place anymore." The wind picked up, swirling around me as I spoke. A twig snapped in the distance, and for a fleeting moment, I thought I saw a flicker of movement in the shadows. Suddenly, a sharp pain lanced through my arm. I looked down to see a fresh gash, identical to the scratches I'd woken up with earlier. Panic surged through me, and I dropped Amelia to the ground. As I turned to flee, I heard a chilling whisper, barely audible over the howling wind. "Don't leave me." I sprinted back to my car, not daring to look back. That night, I packed my belongings and left the apartment. I couldn't stay there any longer. The experience left me shaken and afraid. I never went back for Amelia. It took a long time to recover from the ordeal. But with time and therapy, I learned to manage the fear. I still get a shiver whenever I see a Raggedy doll, but the terror has subsided. Whether Amelia was truly haunted or simply a conduit for my own anxieties, I'll never know. Sometimes I wonder about the little girl, Amelia. Did she find peace after my encounter? The experience left a profound impact on me. It taught me the power of suggestion and the unsettling potential that can lurk beneath the surface of seemingly harmless objects. And while I may never fully understand what transpired, the story of Amelia serves as a chilling reminder. Sometimes, the things we hold dearest can harbor the most unexpected darkness.